Okay, I know I'm not the best YouTube video maker guy, but I'm gonna just talk a little bit about the inspired Overland rooftop tent, this carbon fiber version. When I was shopping around for tents, I was a little bit annoyed that there's not really any information about this thing yet. Hardly anybody out there seems to have one or make videos about them, so figured I'd do my best to answer some of the questions that you might have that I most certainly did have when I was shopping around. So here's nothing. As you might see in some of the other videos about the soft version of this tent, people complain about this awning and the mount and how it doesn't tension the rainfly well enough. But they have changed that, so now this comes out at a 45-degree angle. So there's lots and lots of tension on this on both sides. So that's nice. They fixed that. It's very good. Then, of course, we'll take a look at the nice carbon fiber up on the top there. Look at that. Something to behold, eh? It's actually very, very thin. I don't know if you've ever worked with carbon fiber before, but you can obviously make this stuff pretty thick. Or you could make it, just a couple sheets. So, it does not take much to deflect it. But, at the end of the day, does it need to be thick? Not really. This is probably why it's so light compared to all of the other tents on the market. This thing's only 80 pounds with the mattress included. So that's pretty impressive. 80 pounds. And then this rack that I've got, the Dayton Fab rack, I think they call it the canvas cage. So it fits around the soft topper. So that rack is about 75 pounds or so. And the soft topper, I think, is about 35 pounds. So all in for this setup in the bed, you're looking at like under 200 pounds, which is still a lot. You got to take that into consideration. But compared to a lot of other tents out there, gosh, just the tent alone will be 200, 250 pounds, which seems a little bit absurd to me. I just don't understand where all that weight's coming from. So yeah, I think they made some smart decisions as far as materials and design go. These hinges are maybe a little bit less overbuilt than some of the other ones you might see on the market, but they do the job, especially when you have a very lightweight top. You don't need a huge hinge. These struts are, they work. It lifts that top up no problem. They're not super huge and chunky. These latches are, they don't feel super premium, not gonna lie. But they work, they get the job done. The construction underneath, you'll see there's all these little crossbars. I think these are, pretty sure that's just like really thin aluminum. And then it's like fabric in the bottom. So it is a little deceiving, when they say hard shell carbon fiber, it's really just the top. The bottom is not hard shell at all. It's just like a soft tent over like a futon kind of frame, essentially. That's the best way I could put it. But does the bottom need to be hard shell? I don't know, not really. Because it just depends on how hardcore you are with your overlanding expeditions, right? Go ahead and take a look inside. And you have that little porthole on the side there, and you can pass through like an exhaust or like an AC hose or like a diesel heater or something like that. I use it to pass through the power cord for this heated blanket, which I use to kind of preheat my whole sleeping area off of just like a little Blue Eddy battery pack. It's a really, really efficient way to just take that edge off and make it much, much more comfortable. Same thing over here. It's another little hose port. This little organizer that hangs down from the top. You can put your phone and your keys and stuff in there, but it does sag pretty easily. Some people complain about it a lot, and they're like, "Oh, this thing is worthless." I don't know. I think that's a bit of an exaggeration. You just got to be realistic about what you put in there. It's not meant to carry a giant battery pack or a bunch of water bottles or something. So, just be conscious of what you put in there. And there's another little organizer up here. and she's a kind of similar thing, you know, just small things. Don't go crazy. They'll be fine. Nice little area to sit in here. Very cozy. You have mesh doors on all sides here, and you've also got this rain fly that's being held out right now. You can zip that down if it's really shisty. Same thing on both sides. I've got them rolled up right now. They've got little tie-offs to keep everything tidy. Let's see if I can crawl back down here. I think overall, the quality on like the zippers and the construction, you know, I mean, you could tell it's definitely not like a super high-end build quality. You know, the zippers can be a little tough to close sometimes, and things are stretched a little funny. I don't think there's really any easy way that you're going to be able to remove the tent portion like from the hard shell to like wash it or like dry it out or something. I can see where it's held in with like little Phillips screws, but I think they're more like self-tapping screws into like aluminum. And so I don't know that you'd want to take that out, and then you're going to really fight it to have to stretch everything back and get it to fit right. So maybe don't do that. Just air it out the best you can without removing that. I'm going to show you this mattress pad. This confused me when I first got it. So I think it might confuse you too. So I'm going to try to explain it the best I can. So it's a foam mattress that's also kind of an air mattress. And the foam just kind of helps it like self-expand a little bit. It's actually really comfy once you inflate it. It feels really good. The first night I spent with my partner in here, we didn't understand it properly. And so we had it set on the deflate setting, which is where you pull this guy out. Oh yeah, look at that. And then you flip it around. And now the valve basically lets air out but doesn't let it back in, which is great for storage and trying to close everything back up. So we had it on that setting all night, so it was just getting less and less and less inflated, and it was horribly uncomfortable. So make sure you flip this around on both sides, because there's two of them. Put it on the inflate setting, and then blow that thing up as much as you can, and it will be very comfortable. You will have a great night's sleep on that thing. So just a little thing to take note of. Yes, it also does have a anti-condensation mat in here. So that's nice. They included that. Pretty much ready to go out of the box. It included the ladder as well. You've also got two of these boot bags, which actually comes in handy quite a bit. You climb up that ladder and you're looking for somewhere to put your shoes, and it's like, oh, there you go. Nice little waterproof storage place. You're not going to get lost. You don't have to deal with muddy shoes inside your sleeping area. It's really great. Nice quality of life feature. It does include a bag for the ladder. Also nice, because when the ladder gets muddy and nasty, you've got somewhere to put it so it doesn't get all over your interior or whatever. There's also that big silver bag that stretches over the top of the tent. When you're not using it, you're supposed to use that cover. UV light will break down the carbon fiber, so you do need to use that cover. Like, I mean, if you're on like a trip for a few days or something, it's fine. I wouldn't bother putting it back on. But, you know, in the off season, when you're not using it, you should probably put the cover on just to protect it so it doesn't get all worn out. But yeah, that is, I think, most of the stuff I could think of. The way this mounts to my rack, they have extruded 80/20 that goes on these two rails here, and it is a 30 millimeter extrusion. So, you know, all the T-slots and whatever other things you're going to want to mount to it, just make sure you look for 30 millimeter variants, and you should be good to go. I had to buy some T-slots, or T-nuts that would slide into this track so that I could mount it in 6 positions on this rack. And then I used these little plastic blocks that I made. You can kind of see it in there. And I used that as kind of just a backing plate to give me a little more space with the fastener and give some washers. So that way I've got a nice big mounting surface, and I can mount this thing as low as possible. And you can see All 6 locations, yes. All right, and then my antenna, it just slips oh so nicely right between those 2 extruded rails. I mean, nothing touches your knobs or anything like that. It's a very low profile, very slick setup. Yeah, it's pretty slick. So, okay, that about covers it for the rooftop tent. Oh yeah, you can put the ladder on all 3 sides here, right? You can put it off the back or the 2 sides, and you've got ways to get in and out either way. Yeah, drop comments below if you got more questions. I'll do my best to answer them. But hopefully this gives you at least a little more to go from than the product page. Yeah, have fun.